Hello guys, thank you for your interest in this pack. So I'm going to try to cover in this video all the basic features of the project, show you a bit around how it looks like, what you have, what you can do. So I'm going to start up with with the landscape, which is this one. So yeah, in this scene, just so you know, I'm using the ocean. The demo scene, you have access to the ocean and the island. The scene as you are seeing it right now. Um, so you have the landscape, the ocean. So it's using the ocean plugin. I'm using water body islands, and I'm using the features of the terrain and water curve settings to shape the islands in some different way. So this one, for instance, like it's a nose texture that shaping. So this one I just created it for showcasing you some stuff. So it's automatically generating the islands. Also, a nice feature I can showcase is the that you can do in all your projects. Very easy to do, is referencing actually the weight map and the grass layer. So the layer from the landscape, the paint layer in here with some different parameters that you can change. So in this case, it's automatically placing the grass on top of the island automatically, which is pretty nice. So I have this, water body island. So nothing special in this place neither. So in this case, directly when I create an island, I have the grass automatically placed. You can then go in the landscape mode and see in the paint mode all the layers that are active right now. So you have like grass, sander, sand pebble, sand trample. So to have like some sand marks. So here, for instance, you can see already some different material that have been blended. So one with some kind of waves, more normal one with one with some pebbles. I think here you have maybe like some rocks. Obviously, the grass texture, which is hidden right now by the grass plates. You also have other texture. I think you will find out about them that you that are automatically created and mixed, like base sand, for instance, is a mix of three different sand materials that automatically blended together. So you can see here you have a second material and a third material, and then some noise parameter that are going to move the blend together all together. You can activate, deactivate. You have a base riverbed that I think it's nice when you use the river. So the river features, water body river. I use this a lot, so you can have like some kind of nice stones on your on the waterbed. So you can also have like a blend between the two. So you have a bit of variation between the two, and the shoreline also using different materials and a slope rocks. So when you sculpt, if you activate these features, you're going to have like some kind of rock material on the slope, which is a nice addition. So I think it's quite a standard landscape. There's nothing crazy, but I think it gives you already a nice base for your project. I think so you can start from that and add what you need. And so every material has like basic parameters, like the tiling. You can change, of course, the textures. You have a subsurface slot, which is not used right now, but I think I tried some effects with the grass and the sand to use the subsurface, and I think it's interesting. I think can give like a like the impression that the sun is actually going through, and it can give you a warmer look. In this case, I deactivated it for my personal taste, I think. But know that the feature is here. You can change the specular, so the specular is different from the grass than from the sand. And I have like every texture have an height map where you can change the tessellation. I think is it activated in this case. Nope yet. I think if you, I think it's night activated. Uh, yes, I think it's working right now. Read tessellation is the landscape. Or maybe I need to rebuild night. Yeah, that's why. And then yeah, that's it. You can see the pebbles popping out. The waves in the sand are changing. Like the rock here are showing. I think it's nice. It's nice details. It's here. You know, you can use it. It's using, for it to work, it has to use the virtual texture right now. Well, it's using nanite virtual texture, and you can activate, deactivate the features based on your the quality settings and the spec, I guess, of your computer. In this case, so everything is using, in this one example, everything is using the runtime virtual texture. So know that the landscape is using 3 different virtual texture, one from the for the colors, one from the 8 map, and one for the displacement. The displacement is actually one that's used for the 8 displacement of the landscape. This one is used for in one particular grass shader, so it's referenced in the projection function, which is actually projecting the grass blade onto the surface. So if you have like imagine you have like a you sculpted the terrain, and it's very create like some kind of a mount, and you have the grass meshes, which is like painted on top. Like actually, it's painting the grass with the pivot, the center pivot of each blade. So it may never actually stick to the surface in some case. So if you choose to not correct the, so I can show you quickly. If you go in the grass here, you have like a parameters to align to normal. Usually I never, for grass, I never use these features, because I want my grass to always point up and not follow the curvature of the object. But in this case, if you paint the grass, because it places it based on the center pivot point, it can have like grass blades floating around. So it's nice to compare the height of the landscape, which is here in the runtime virtual texture landscape 8, and the actual. So I store every pivot information in the grass blade, in the grass UV. So you can compare the height of the landscape with the height of the individual pivot of the grass blades, compare the two, and then move down or move up the grass blade based on the comparison of the landscape, and then it reproject and it follows the curvature of the landscape, which is pretty nice. Know that for it to work perfectly, I actually had to activate the virtual texture render with quads. I didn't know why it didn't work as perfectly without, but activating it fixed all the bugs I had. So if you know, I would be glad to know what is the cause, and if maybe it need to be activated always. So yeah, all the layers information are here, so you can see the pebbles, the trample sand. So every parameter is here. There's nothing crazy. I think I showcased everything in this case. I enabled the tessellation, default lit. You can change it. So I think it's that's it for the landscape. Pretty basic, I think. So I can go now to show you a bit the grass material. So basically, yeah, I didn't show you, but we have like I have created 4 different master materials. So for the foliage, for the grass, for the props, and for the landscape. So every other asset is a child. It's using that master material, and because it's a master material with a lot of different parameters, you activate them, activate the one you want, deactivate the one you don't want. Okay, so for the grass shader, can I show? Yeah, the grass stick. So this one is referencing these assets. Most of the time, I create 3 variation of each asset, and create a instance material for each of the instance and the variation. So also it's good to note that the third is always in the hierarchy. The third one is always referencing the first one. The second one is always referencing the first one. So if you want specific variation different for one peculiar meshes, you can change it in here for the second one if you want specific change. But most of the time you can just stick with the first hierarchy and the first instance and change everything, and it will propagate to the other instance. So yeah, let's start with the basic parameters. So I think you can change. I mean, it's quite basic. I think I won't go into details, but you can activate, deactivate the roughness texture. Otherwise, it's actually a gradient from top to bottom that you can change the parameter to affect the roughness of the grass blade. You have like U shift on the back face of the grass, U shift based on the individual instances, foliage instances. I have a splat map variation where you can have like an overlay texture on top of the grass to color it, to tint it differently. A specular value, of course, and ambient occlusion, because we are using the material ambient occlusion node, so you can change these parameters also. So yeah. Oh yeah, little detail, but the project is coming as a complete pack for in the Unreal Marketplace. So you have access of the config that I created for the project. So it should work as if. But I think it's quite easy to migrate the project to another folders. There's nothing extravagant or very different from a basic new project. So Nanite is activated by default. I think Lumen also. So apart from this, the project works perfectly fine without the material ambient occlusion. It won't give you any warning or issue. I think in that case it's quite straightforward to move the assets. And I created a lot of quality switch and virtual texture switch in the material, Nanite switch in the material. The master material, so I think it covers a lot of the different situation. It may sometimes have like different features that are not won't work because maybe you have Nanite activated and it goes in a specific path in the master material, and a feature is not working, or your runtime virtual texture is not working because your GPU is not doesn't support it, or whatever reason you didn't activate it, or whatever. So yeah, that's nice to know. So then I can go into normal map. Normal map is interesting because I have like this little switch which I use it only for the grass, because most of the time it's nice to have some kind of normal edit, and I think I added like this nice feature where you can have like the normal, just this the grass normal pointing up, but you can start like adjusting the lerping with the object normal, which is like the direction, the facing direction of the grass blade. So in this case, like if you have it to 1, it's just pointing up, so it's pretty green, I guess. But you can have like, if you put it to 0, it gives you like a more random. It's not really the kind of look I was looking for. So in this case, maybe you can just go with 0.7, and you have like some kind of variation in the grass look. But I have also this one, which is creating some kind of spherical normal based on the center pivot of the grass mesh and the bounding box of it, and it created some kind of a nice round feeling. And I think you can also add it like slightly to change a bit, tweak a bit the look of the grass. So I think it's nice. You can use the texture if you want, change the normal intensity. Quite standard. So now I'm going to skip player push. I think it's going to be nice to show it in the foliage part. Here the roughness. So that was what I was talking about, like the gradient parameters, the roughness power. You can have a variation by blade, by grass blade. if you want to. A nice runtime virtual texture blends, so something pretty nice, pretty common also, that you can sample the runtime virtual texture of the landscape and actually blend it with the grass material. So in this case, I'm blending the you can see the gradient of the sand on the bottom part. I think the grass also. I think it really helps, like blend the color and make it look as one and not separated from the grass texture. So pretty classic contrast offset. I think it's enough to get the result you want. So you can activate, deactivate. Scale function is also quite interesting because it's also sampling the runtime virtual texture 8 and actually scale the grass blade based on the material, the landscape material. So basically, it's 1 in the grass and 0 in the sand, and you have like a nice gradient between the two. So it can scale down, like you can see here. Like the grass is already getting slower, smaller. So also quite quite basic, used in a lot of projects, I think. So yeah, it's only 2 parameters. So the scale, the contrast, and the intensity. So actually, it really depends of what you painted in the landscape. So the gradient distance, I mean. So if you paint with if you paint it with a contrast brush, like the brush with a small fall off or no fall off, obviously you won't have much control in the scale function because we won't have like a lot of gradient to work with. Also, you have a nice scale function, which is actually when you activate when you activate the scale function, it works a bit differently. And basically, if you have like a grass mesh, let's pick this one. Oh yeah, you can maybe see here like yeah, when I move it away from the oh yeah, it's something I didn't show you the features. So basically, when you activate this, instead of scaling uniformly, is going to so instead of scaling uniformly, the mesh is going to let me just repeat grass projection, just kill this so I can show you quick better. So basically, it's going to spread the mesh around. So I think it's nice to when you paint, you can quickly change the scale of the spread, so it can give you different look and make it grass clump, like if you scale it like this, or more spread. So I think it's pretty interesting. Then yeah, I have to deactivate some function so you can see it better. So yeah, this is nice. You have every scale masking, so that was the scaling on the border. The grass projection is actually what I was talking about comparing the pivot point with the height of the landscape, and just moving every grass blade onto the landscape. So I think it's quite nice when you have like a moved like some kind of curvature in the landscape and you have floating grass blade. I think it can really help make the grass stick to the surface and not having it floating around. Yeah, I have a variation texture, which is actually just a cloud map that is scaling the grass blade based on that texture. So you can have like a you can have like a different kind of scale in the grass. I think it's nice if for certain type of effect. I think it's pretty nice. And then yeah, if you change here, you can actually. So when you use the T-scale function, then you because you cannot affect the size of the grass blade, I think it's quite nice to use this to tweak a bit the scale of the grass as you want. So adjust it slightly. I think it's pretty nice. Uh, so yeah, I think that's what you can do with the scale parameters. Yeah, it's quite nice to give a bit of like different feeling if you have like a huge a complete landscape filled with grass. I think all these parameters come handy, especially the scale texture, the variation texture. I think it's pretty amazing just to have this kind of variation of on a very huge landscape, like the same as the splat map, which is here, like just projecting a color texture on top of everything, just to have like that extra step of detail and variation. Yeah, also yeah, subsurface parameters and wind pivot painter. In this case, I think it's not working with Nanite. It's deactivated. I think with Nanite. I'm just using the root. I think for grass movement right now. Yeah, because with Nanite there's some kind of wall limitation with what you can do with the wall pivot offset. So I had to actually create some quality switch with the Nanite to just reduce the amount of rotation you could have with Nanite. I think it's going probably to be improved with the next version, but I prefer to do this kind of switch, and otherwise at some point it can break pretty quickly when you use like a three level of hierarchy. Well, the grass is one level. I think I could make it work more easily, but I think it's with a simple wind, like a simple wind function. I think it's working pretty nice already. So I didn't have the time, the need to address it. But know that if you want to have the complete rotation for mostly for the palm tree and everything, I think it's better to just deactivate Nanite and work with all the level hierarchy for some of the assets. Otherwise, I think it's limited to I'm limited to one rotation, and then the simple wind, which is like a texture moving the vertices left and right. So it's quite basic. There's no rotation, so you cannot go. You cannot do some really nice stuff with a leaf, for instance. But hopefully, it will get fixed in the future Unreal Engine update. Yeah. So yeah, that was the grass material. Now I can go to the foliage. I just want it finish. So yeah, let's go and let's leave this. Let's pick material, palm tree material. So yeah, the hierarchy is always the parent is the foliage. Then I have like the first bar. If you have like two material, like the palm tree bark and the palm tree leaf, most of the time I like the first bark is referencing the second and the third, and then the second bark is referencing the first bark, and its child is leaf 02. So so it's always nice to, like I told you, to go back from the first in the chain and change the parameters. So I have for every material I have like a shading. You can change the shading model for the leaf usually in the chain. If you go here, let's pick this the leaf. You can see that I have like activated the shading two-sided foliage, which is simply the change in the blend mode, the shading model I'm using from material expression. I think it's pretty handy to just quickly have these parameters here. So yeah, I have this. You can activate the subsurface enable or stick with the two-sided foliage. Not much of a difference actually a bit of different in the look, but not that much. The lerping of the U shift, texture, ambient occlusion, contrast, all the parameters, the same parameters as the grass material. basic opacity, roughness texture if you want or not. Can change the contrast and shift the value of the texture. So if you to have extra control. Specular, yeah, I'm here in this case I'm having like the specular and specular AO, so you can have like something less specularity in the in the crevice or in where there's AO, and you shift backface. Pretty basic. I think I'm not even changing the color based on the instance, so this is not something I'm doing. Debug color. It's nice to actually check, like you can check basically the hierarchy of the yeah. Actually, I didn't talk about this, but I'm using a plugin from Ghislain Girardot, which is called Data Baker in Blender, and it's baking the hierarchy data of your mesh into the UVs. So it's quite nice. So I'm using the first UV, the second UV, to store all the leaf information. As you can see here, it just show like the first hierarchy is all the leaf. Then the second hierarchy is usually the branch, and the third one is usually the trunk. So depending on the assets I'm using like more a more complex shader or not, depending on the hierarchy. Um, and then you can check the vertex color debug. I think it's quite nice because I'm using a lot of parameter in the wind pivot painter, so you can check the gradient. Oop, you can check the leaf gradient. The different gradient, like the blue channel is variation in the per leaf per object. The red channel is usually a gradient, like in this case it's white. I don't know exactly why. I think I have to check the parameters, but and the green is per leaf gradient. So it's nice to adjust like and see what's happening. So in case you are in doubt, I think it's nice to check the debug. Then yeah, classic normal texture, normal intensity. 0 is default, so the normal is 1 actually. Um, yeah, also this is not used, of course, for the. I'm using the splat map. You can also color based on a world position texture. So yeah, World Pivot Painter. This information come from the exporter, so it's better to not change them. Otherwise, you will have precision errors in the rotation. So here I have like 3 different kind of level of hierarchy. The root one, it's always like 0, 0, 0. So when you have like, for instance, the palm tree. I'm not forced to use the trunk actually, because the trunk and the roots are the same position basically. But yeah, usually you can have like sometimes I'm using the root for big tree where you have like let's say you have 2 trunk that goes to the base. You can use like the root to do a rotation in one direction for all the trunks, and then you can have like the different kind of rotation for the trunk that go, for instance, in 2 separate direction. Then you have the branch rotation, then the leaf rotation. That's the max I can do in this setup, especially with the. I don't like it. Each time you have like a one hierarchy more, it has like a UV channel. So I think it's nice to keep it simple. I mean, also for performance, I guess. So most of the time, I have like two level in the hierarchy, and with the root, the 0, 0. So yeah, note that most of the this stuff work with non-nanites, because you had like some kind of world position offset limitation with nanite. So at some point you can make it work. I make it work like a long for long, but sometimes you have like a uncontrollable leaf movement where they, uh, they don't stick to the trunk, for instance. Like you would see one leaf go and live its own life somehow. So to have like the perfect result, like expected result, you need to not have nanite working, um, which is a bummer. But I think in this scene, when I don't activate nanite, I actually gain performance. So I don't think nanite is like the perfect fit for all situation. Um, but yeah, know that you have to deal with the inconvenience of nanite, so it's not perfect, but the two systems are here, they cohabit, so it's nice. If you want the perfect quality, you will need to create like a mesh that's not part of the foliage structure, and you can just like for instance, what's nice is like you go here, and if you want, I just place like a palm tree, for instance, like this one is nanite, and you have like a function which is called like disallow nanites, and then you can see that directly, like you can see the rotation of the the rotation of the leaf, so it's more, you can give you a way more interesting look um, when the night is not activated. Yeah, so it's nice to know. So yeah, it's pretty basics. It's just rotating based on the pivot information, and then so you have like I think this is like the palm tree. Yeah, it's creating a pretty big rotation. Pretty basic. You can change the rotation angles. You have like some random rotation based on the blue channel of the vertex color, and you can change the offset, the contrast, and try to get the look you want. And I have like in this case, I'm not rotating only in one axis, but I do a little uh, s- uh, movement, so it's not always in a straight line. So this is like you can accelerate the movement. You also have like a wind speed multiplier if you want it, like if it's slower, faster. I think it's nice. It gives you enough control to have a nice look and to really feel the wind. What else? So yeah, cell blending. So yeah, it's used to have the moss placed on the trunk. Nothing crazy. Second texture, you can use the triplanar and the tessellation or parallax occlusion mapping uh, if you want. Fuzzy shading to have a more interesting look. And yeah, you can use a mesh UV or wall space UV depending of the situation of what you want to achieve. But it's there. At some point, I use them. I use it for some meshes. In this case, I'm not using it, but I think it's pretty useful. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for the materials. I think there's not much. I have another material that is also very basic. It's for all the props and is as probably most of the time the same kind of parameters. It's yeah, you can use a displacement. I have like a feature also that is referencing the ocean. So I think it's nice to have the ocean activated in your project, so you can just activate is floating, so it's referencing the water, uh, like the position of the wave height, and it just making it follow the water. So it's a cheap effect, but I think it's quite nice for a lot of stuff. Actually, it's not really used that much in the foliage, in this foliage tropical plant, as it's focused on the tropical plant. But I'm creating other projects, other packs that are going to be compatible with this one. So the shaders, the master material are the same for all the projects. So it's going to be quite useful if you buy this project, and then I have another project to bring that into to merge the two projects because they will share the same master materials. So I plan to keep always the master material the same for all of my project in this current series. So I think I will improve it and add features as requested as I need. I've fixed the bugs and clean up what I see fits, etc. So you have this is floating, is metallic. There's no metallic object in the foliage of obviously, but I think maybe you can use it as you want. You can use a detail normals. You can use a quantum virtual blending also. Underwater blend thing is interesting also, very interesting. Basically, I have like based on the height of the map, below 000, the roughness diminish, so it gets wetter. So you have to activate the undersea, underwater features thing, and it should work directly. I didn't try. Oh yeah, you can see. I think the mesh is maybe subsurface. Yeah, I should remove that. This case, yeah, I should just put default lit. But you can see that yeah, I didn't show. It's not only oh yeah, the I have to uh, it's using the virtual texturing. In this case, I have to deactivate it. And you can see, yeah, here you are in the sea, so it's actually changing the material to undersea one, and you can see it appears at certain distance, at the height. Then you can activate the wetness. So in this case, if I write roughness, you can see that it's getting darker. I think it should work. Puff, puff, puff. I don't want to go that much into detail because it was not planned for this particular scene. But know that the parameters are here. You need to tweak them. If you want to actually place some foliage in the water, you can do that. You probably need to tweak some other parameters. I didn't do it for this scene, uh, so yeah. You have this wetness, water wetness, the parallax occlusion, the fuzzy shading, the Z blending, the underwater enabled, like showing you the underwater stony surface. Yeah, I think that's it for this material. Actually, it's only used for the trunk, but it's going to be used for another project I have in mind, which is going to be a set of rocks and texture for that, for the coast and for mountains, and I think it's going to be a nice addition to complete the scene. So yeah, on that note, I think you have a bit of everything you need to know about the materials. It's quite simple. I think you can tweak it enough for your project. Then on another note, every material actually have like foliage, static mesh foliage type with different kind of parameters that you can directly use in here. So you can just drag and drop all of this and just start painting, and they have like different kind of density, so it won't like it will be populated in a correct way, in a better way than normal. So with parameters, you have like some branches that you can place, or the foliage, small foliage. I have three type of different grass, small ground plants, monstera, oak tree, cordyline, rampant grass, I try to name the assets and find real life references. I think it's quite nice. You have 20 of them. Um, so yeah, you will have this scene as a demo scene, and you can, yeah, you can be placing the assets. Have like some branch plant, some kind of cat palm also. And I have like pretty much lot of different type of plants. I think you will find your happiness in here. Yeah. What can I show you else? Yeah, I have hanging branch, hanging plants with flowers, palm tree. I have oak trees, like a big. I think it's not really tropical, but I think it can really fit if you want to have like a very more dense shadowed area. I think it's pretty nice. So yeah, I think I have all of this. I probably I didn't show you like, oh yeah, the player. I think it's quite nice features. Actually, what's pretty nice is that with the pivot information stored in each plant, I can use that with the position of the player and create some kind of bending um, and movement of the plant of reaction with the player. So I have two type of reaction. One is just like pushing, and the other one is jiggling. So jiggling is using actually the sphere collision. So every plant has some kind of sphere collision of influence. When the characters enter that sphere of influence, it triggers the jiggling effect, which is just like a sinus animation of bending the plants. It's quite simple. I showed it in another video. I think you can find it. It's pretty nice. You have like some parameters to tweak that. And yeah, do you have like I'll show you really quickly. Yeah, in the player push, or you have to activate it. Let's activate it. Yeah, here you can choose the UV pivots. So or you choose like I have basically two. The first one is actually the each grass leaf independently. So you have some plant that when you're going to move, every leaf are going to move in different direction. Other than that, it's like the root pivot, and it's going to move in one direction. I think it's quite basics, and you can change the jiggle time, the jiggle intensity, change the contrast of the gradient, which is referencing the vertex colors. And then you have the player push, which is in this case not using any collision or anything. It's very simple. It's using the player position and the pivot position of the assets, and calculating the distance between the two, and applying a push direction in the opposite direction of the players. And something nice is that I can use also the speed push intensity, where you actually multiply the intensity by the speed of the character, and you have this multiplier. So you can see if you run quickly, it's going to go crazy. It's pretty nice. So yeah. So I think that's it. That's pretty much it. I think it's. I hope. I really hope like you will love the content and love the style I'm looking for. Like trying to mix like a stylized and a bit of realism in the project. I think that was the goal. So I can show you a bit what I'm looking for, what I already have created. So I'm trying to now start doing some kind of pirate prop or assets that will fit a bit more be more interesting, create some storytelling, and try to also create a pack based on that. So right now I have like can show you a bit what I have created. So here in this case I have like some kind of barrel amphoras, simple boxes, like a gold pile. Let's go in this. So yeah, here you can see a bit like what I'm already working on. I have planks. So the idea is to be able to create like and to with the scene of the foliage to be able to create some kind of more man-made assets that will be able to populate and to create like more storytelling and something a bit more interesting. So right now I have like it's very work in progress. I don't know exactly how I'm going to structure the different packs, but I have like amphora, different type of amphoras, destroy amphoras, fire camps. So it is pretty much work in progress blockouts, but you get the idea. Like I have some flags trying to. The idea is to create like some kind of pirate base or something that can be populated with a lot of different props, like the golden pile. So it's like some kind of treasure that has been abandoned. I think this is for just for showcasing, but I have like some kind of different kind of gold pile. I'm creating with the crates I'm creating. I think it will be pretty interesting. What else can I show you? That is working project. I don't know, lanterns, very basic stuff. Very very simple props. But all of them, I think, are going to create like some nice Ubuntu. I don't know. Create some interesting storytelling. I think I have a lot of work to do. I think to just bring it to the same quality of the other pack. I don't know, ropes. Yeah, this blueprint work in progress. Tents. I have some kind of tents I'm working on. I don't know, fencing to use for your little town. Other kind of crates. Different kind of crates. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what's coming. And I think I'm looking for a lot of your feedbacks, your opinion, what you would like to see, what you are interested to improve. I'm really looking forward to your feedback. I have a Discord server, so I think you can just hop in and just tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to see improve in the future packs. So yeah, feel free to join. I'm going to dedicate the next year to this project, and let's see where it brings me. So thanks for watching the videos. Feel free to comment if you have any question, any doubts. It was a one shot for me, so I may have gone in all direction, but I think it was pretty nice.